Hi, I'm Rafał, welcome back to the channel. So this video is about first impressions of a guy who switched from KTM 890 Adventure R to the 2024 BMW R1300GS. And this is a trophy edition with everything on it except for ride height device. So fully spec GS compared to my old KTM. Here we go. So maybe let's start with the reasons why I decided to buy this bike. And there are quite a few. Number one would be my friend Arek, who owns a 2009 air-cooled R1300GS, and he says this is the best bike ever. He never wants to replace it with anything else. He had a huge influence on me, but also some other things that happened along the way. So I also had the 1250 long time ago as a test bike from BMW when my 850 was serviced. So it was a very interesting day, and I liked the motorcycle a lot back then. And when this bike came out, I probably watched all of the review videos trying to understand if this could be the right bike for me, and it seemed that it might be the case, but it was also always super expensive to get. The fully spec'd motorcycle like this GS was far above my imaginable kind of budget for a motorcycle. So I bought this second hand with 2000 kilometers on it, in perfect kind of condition, that not even a scratch. So I found it on the internet. I went and I bought it, and I realized the dream that I had for quite some time. So I'm happy about it. So what are my impressions after 2 months and 4000 kilometers on this motorcycle? So my first impressions about the switch from KTM 890 to the R1300GS. Number one would be the engine. The KTM engine is extremely dynamic, but it likes to rev. To get it working, you need to rev it. It doesn't like to work in the low RPM range. And it likes, quick shifting gears. This is a very dynamic and fun engine. This one feels almost lazy compared to the KTM. I can ride with 2,500–3,000 RPM, and whenever I open the throttle, it just goes like crazy. So this is a very interesting feeling, and the first difference that I felt immediately after switching from KTM to BMW. Obviously, the shaft drive is also something new. I never had a boxer. I never had this kind of engine, but I remember I used to have the FJR 1300 that also had the shaft drive, and not needing to worry about the chain is also a good feeling. And I have to admit, adjusting the chain on the 890 was always a struggle for me. Not because that the work is complex or complicated. It is just finding this 3 to 5 millimeters of the slack that is required for the chain to operate properly. And then it was still, from my point of view, very loose and often making a lot of noise. So that is a welcomed change with the GS. But not everything is unicorns and rainbows with the GS compared to the KTM. I think that the gearbox at KTM was much smoother. Also, the quick shifter was much smoother. So when I was switching gears, it felt like clicking. This feels very like it is clunky. It is not as smooth as it was at KTM. I have to adjust to riding with this gearbox, because this is far from being as smooth as the gearboxes that I had both of on an 890 and I still do have on the 690. This is something different. I guess I will have to adjust. The quick shifter from the third gear up works really nice, but the first two gears in the quick shifter are quite clunky. Going down gears is super smooth on the GS. So it is just the first and the second gear that are making a lot of kind of clunky noises, and I have to really work my way how to do it with less noise around the gearbox. The second part of the impressions are related to the suspension, and don't get me wrong, the KTM has a fantastic WP Explore suspension. It was superb off-road. And the only advantage that this bike, maybe a few advantages that this bike has, is that this is an electronic suspension with so many adjustable things to do with it. Each riding mode is influencing how the suspension work. You can also set 5 levels of how the damping works. It is on the next level, and I also enjoy the fact that whenever I am riding with a passenger, my daughter is now a frequent guest on this motorcycle. It is balancing itself. It is setting the slack on the right level. I don't even feel that I'm riding with a passenger now. I don't have to adjust almost anything. It is doing this automatically. This is a great comfort and a feature that I enjoy a lot. The front wheel, 19 inches versus 21 on KTM. For the road riding, it is probably a bit better. I was never finding the 21-inch front wheel an issue on my KTM when doing curvy roads. It was great all over. But this is probably a bit better. I don't feel a huge difference at the moment after those 4,000 kilometers. If it's a better experience or a worse experience, I was not riding this motorcycle off-road too much yet, so it might be that I find it out in the future. Number 3 on my list of impressions is definitely the weight. This is a heavy motorcycle. I even compared the KTM to the GS when I am maneuvering the bike in the garage. This is much heavier and requires much more work. But as soon as I'm riding, I know, everyone says that, and I experience that as well. The weight just disappears, and it is such a great bike on doing the curves. I can lean quite far, and it is putting a lot of smiles on my face when I ride it. So yeah, maneuvering and handling on the GS is superb. I would never say it was bad with KTM, but this feels much nicer. As I told you, I did not ride this motorcycle off-road a lot yet. I still need to learn its balance, and I'm working on that. I just took a few very short off-road rides. These are still street tires, so for the moment I use the bike mostly like 90% on the tarmac, and KTM was definitely a much more, for me, confidence inspiring, as they say, off-road than this bike. I know I will have to learn much more about the GS, and maybe at some point get it some 50-50 tires, or maybe 60-40 tires. Let's see. But at the moment these are the completely stock street tires, and they are not really great off-road, except for some hard gravel roads. Then this is okay, but anything else than that, I think I would struggle. All right, let me show you some details of the bike. This bike has the optional enduro package, so it has some nice features like this brake pedal that is adjustable. It also has and I'm happy about this, that the blinkers are mounted here, not in the handle guards, because I don't see this is a very drop-proof element, so I'm happy these are here. The radar in the front, the adaptive cruise control works really well. It also has this advanced BMW LED system. This is the Light Pro, that it supposedly also has the cornering lights. I haven't experienced that yet, and it has a lot of those additional features already on the bike. This Akra exhaust is not really needed. If I were to configure my bike by myself, I wouldn't get it. I think it gives the same sound as the stock pipe. This costs over €1,000, I guess even more, and it will not bring you any kind of audio effects that you might have in mind when thinking about Akra. This is a very nice and quiet exhaust. I like it, but I wouldn't pay for it that money. I think it just looks nice, but besides that, the Akra is not making any significant changes to how the bike sounds. I also got the two Vario side panniers for this motorcycle. I'm not riding with those because the bike gets really wide with those panniers, so I don't use them on a regular basis. But yeah, I also have them in the package. You know, the front suspension with this spring in the front. On the road this is superb, but off-road they say it does not give you the feeling of what the front tire is doing. I will have to verify that later on. You know, I am quite surprised that this is exactly the same dash I had on my 8A50 that I bought in 2018. So, you know, many years later it is still the same dash, so I felt like at home. Everything around the menu is obvious. This is a really well made dash, but overall I would be happy to run some Google Maps on it. That is the reason I installed the copyright to have the Android Auto here as well. I can see it has already launched. I do not have a top case for this bike, so that's why I'm using my old BMW Soft Bag. You know, it can even fit a motorcycle helmet, so that is absolutely enough for me. I do not like the top cases that much. I don't think it's required or necessary to have it, so the soft bag works really well for me. So overall, what did I gain and what did I lose with the change from KTM to the BMW? Number one, I believe this is comfort for long distance traveling. This is absolutely on another level. You know, nice welcome feature is not worrying about the chain. I also gained a lot of comfort for riding with a passenger, for sure. The suspension, self-leveling and everything is just amazing. On the losses side, I would say at the moment the KTM was much more confidence inspiring for going off-road. I had the 50/50 tire on it, of course. It also held its weight down low, but I never kind of even hesitated to go off-road with KTM. With this one, I know it will come with time, and I still have the 690 for the off-road adventures. So I am looking at this motorcycle more from the comfort of long distance on tarmac traveling, and maybe sending this motorcycle to some faraway places where this will be just a proper tool for the road ahead. In general, I am super happy with the change. It is, you know, it was long in the baking. I always wanted to have a boxer engine. This is my first ever boxer, so it was a good moment, a good opportunity to get a second-hand bike for the very attractive price from a gentleman that just had no time to ride it. It is a different story. It is a different kind of riding, but I think we are going to spend quite a lot of time on this motorcycle. So if you're into the big GS, the big boy, leave a comment, tell me what you think about the change, and if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do. There will be many more videos coming in the future with the GS in front and center. All right, thank you for watching today. I hope that was useful. See ya. Cheers.